cheated on me, and I was devastated. I was angry. I cut, I crashed, I attacked, I stabbed, I plotted. I did a lot of stuff.
I'm a firm believer that charity begins at home and then it spreads. And then I forgot that part. And so I contributed to the distance in our relationship.
I'm just saying, I like for you to look a little more like I like for you to look.
I started realizing how faulty I was. The fact that I've been a contentious wife the entire time I've been married to him. I'm sitting up here running around being the face of gospel, encouraging everybody, being more of a really good Christian in theory.
Like, I don't need you for too much of this because I run stuff. I got the baby, so I got love. I don't need the other kind of love. I'm fine, at least for a little while. You know what I mean? Because I got her. You know what I mean? And so he was just...
Imagine discovering that the person who vowed to love and protect you was quietly destroying your peace every single day. This was not just about cheating, lies, or hidden behavior. It was the nightmare of being betrayed by both your husband and your own sister at the same time. The woman standing beside you in public, singing about faith, smiling at family gatherings, and helping raise your children was allegedly involved with your husband for years while you knew nothing. That woman was said to be Tina Campbell, while the one suffering through it all was Tina Campbell of Mary Mary. Behind the success, the worship music, and the polished image, Tina's husband Teddy was allegedly living a double life. Reports claimed her own sister may have been part of it. This was not ordinary heartbreak. It was total emotional destruction. Tina did not just lose trust in a marriage. She lost faith in family, friendship, partnership, and the life she thought was real. One woman, 2 betrayals. No warning. When the truth finally came out, she broke down completely. Cars were damaged. Rage took over. She became someone she barely recognized. Yet the most shocking twist came later. She forgave him. She stayed. She fought for the marriage with everything she had. And after all of that, he reportedly filed for separation and even sought alimony. Some people do not just break hearts. They burn down everything and then ask for compensation afterward. Now Tina Campbell is speaking out, and what she may reveal could shake the gospel world.
About it on when we were taping the show, we were taping the reality show called Mary Mary. Some of y'all don't know. We went through a season of her finding out everything that I had done.
The person who it was, she used to work for me, and so that broke my heart. She was like a godmother to my children. She had access to my home to come get my kids, and I said, "Are you having an affair with her?" And he said, "No." I said, "Call her." While we're doing this, I was like, "Call her." And so he did.
Think you already know the story? Think again. What Tina Campbell went through was not simple cheating drama or a messy breakup. It was a deep betrayal involving the people she trusted most. It did not begin with a confession, a suspicious message, or obvious proof. It started with intuition. That heavy feeling that something in your life is wrong, even when you cannot explain it. Tina reportedly felt it for a long time. The hidden phone. The silence when she entered a room. Teddy growing colder for no clear reason. Still, she ignored the signs. She prayed through it. She convinced herself she was overthinking. After all, this was her husband, the father of her children, her business partner, and the man she built a life with. Why would she doubt him? But betrayal at its deepest level rarely announces itself. It hides in plain sight. It lives inside the home. It wears the face of trust. So when the truth finally surfaced, it did not come gently. It came all at once. Teddy was accused of repeated cheating, not a single mistake, but a pattern. Yet the most painful part was not that he cheated. It was who he allegedly cheated with. Not a stranger, not a fan, but someone Tina knew well. Someone close to the family. Someone she trusted completely. That revelation changed everything.
He was like, "Tina wants to know," and da-da-da-da-da. And I said, "Are you sleeping with my husband?" And she hung up the phone, so I had my answer. So it broke my heart. I destroyed 3 cars. I cut up and crashed up and tried to stab and plotted murders and all kind of crazy stuff because I was angry.
Since then, I found out about more. And I don't want to hold on to somebody who I cannot trust. You see, I have been trying since the very beginning. The situation gets a little worse, and then I try to forgive, and it gets a little worse, and I try to forgive. You gonna keep adding people? You gonna keep adding people? You gonna keep adding people? I thought we had a good life just like everybody else watching. I was 190% committed to that man. And this is what you did every time I was...
Tina once said her life felt stolen, and that word says everything. She was not describing simple hurt or disappointment. She meant that years of her life had been taken from her without her knowing. While she stood on stage singing, smiling, and inspiring others through faith, betrayal was happening behind her back. She was building a future that someone else was secretly tearing apart. The anger that followed was bigger than emotion. It was the collapse of identity itself. When the life you believed in turns out to be false, the damage runs deeper than heartbreak. It affects your confidence, your memories, and your sense of reality. Reports said 3 vehicles were damaged. Rage consumed her thoughts. Even a woman known for grace was pushed to her limit. Then, when it seemed nothing could become more shocking, Teddy reportedly said something unexpected. He claimed he would fix it. And somehow, in the middle of all the pain, part of Tina wanted to believe him.
I was like, what if I kill you first? He said. He said.
No. This is what you said. You looked at me. You was mad because she was. She looked at me one time. And was like, "Don't you think you deserve to die?" And I was like, "Wow." I said, "Yeah."
Oh.
I said, "Yeah." I said, "The wages of sin is death." I said, if you kill me, I'm going to be with the Lord.
Because I repented.
But if you don't, I'm gonna make this.
He did not run away. He did not disappear. Instead, Teddy reportedly stood in the middle of the damage and promised Tina he would make things right. Broken as she was, Tina believed him. That decision to stay, forgive, and try again would shape everything that followed. Many people ask how someone survives that level of betrayal and still remains. But outsiders often do not understand what is tied to a long marriage. Walking away after 20 years is not just leaving a partner. It can feel like burying the version of yourself built inside that relationship. Tina had invested decades of love, loyalty, faith, family, and identity into that union. She was not ready to let all of it die. So she stayed. She prayed. She fought. She rebuilt day by day. And Teddy reportedly made efforts to win her back. He pursued healing. He leaned into faith. He tried to repair the damage. For a brief moment, it seemed possible that this painful story might end differently, that maybe healing could actually happen.
He said, if you don't, I'm going to get you back.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this up to you.
He said,
I broke it.
if you divorce me, I'm going to pursue you till I get you
Yeah,
back.
I did tell her.
And I was like, I didn't know.
She knew I
know
meant it.
exactly where we were in our house when that man said that. And I was like, he means it. He do to get me back. He did everything he said he was going to do. He did everything that he said he was going to do. So in the spirit, he worked.
Forgiveness was never easy for Tina Campbell. She was never the type to pretend pain did not exist or to accept shallow apologies. She was passionate, strong, and deeply invested in her family. Teddy knew that winning her trust again would require real change. For a while, it looked like he was trying. The marriage continued. The ministry grew. Mary kept succeeding. To the public, everything looked whole again. But trauma does not disappear just because people smile in public. Sometimes it only goes quiet. Beneath the restored image, Tina was still fighting battles no one could see. She was not only trying to heal the marriage, she was trying to heal herself. Behind the stage lights and songs about grace, she was struggling with shame and self-blame. Was I the reason? Did I fail him? Was I not enough? Do I deserve to stand here? That is the hidden damage betrayal causes. First, you stop trusting the person who hurt you. Then slowly, you stop trusting yourself. The public saw success. They heard music. They believed the smiles. They did not see the private pain. And then, just when Tina thought the worst might be over, another truth reportedly surfaced. One that did not just reopen wounds. It threatened to destroy everything again.
To condemn because of all my mistakes. Because I didn't get the last test right. Because I was not an honorable wife to my husband because he pissed me off, so I let it rip. When I was mean and intimidating to my children because they wasn't doing well in school and I didn't help them with love. So I'll be over here dealing with my own condemnation, some of the choices that I've made that have caused, consequences that ain't wonderful. Be over here that will be all up in your mind. And are you actually gonna get back out there and sing? Do anybody even want to hear you?
Tina Campbell reportedly reached a point where she was no longer praying for marriage, image, or success. She was simply praying to survive. A woman known for faith and worship found herself in darkness, questioning whether healing was even possible for her. She wondered if she was too broken to be restored, too wounded to move forward, too damaged to deserve peace. That is the true cost of betrayal. It does not only take a relationship. It can shake your faith, your confidence, your voice, and your identity. But the story did not end there. Tina slowly began to rise. Not perfectly, not quickly, but steadily. Now she appears ready to speak her truth openly. She has suggested there are recordings, evidence, and details that have remained hidden. For years, many expected her to stay silent, protect images, and move on quietly while carrying the pain alone. That season may be over. She gave 20 years of loyalty, grace, and commitment. She endured rage, heartbreak, humiliation, and rebuilding. And according to the story being told, what she received in return was separation, betrayal, and emotional devastation. Now Tina Campbell seems determined to reclaim her voice. Because when someone who has lost everything finally decides to speak, they become impossible to silence.